So welcome everybody to day 2 of the Awaken Your Feminine Power Immersion. And we start with Shoshana Raven. I'm so excited to have you today to share your magic. And I had this conversation with Mia Magic the other day on my podcast, and we said we need more women with money in good hands. And you're one of the leading examples to show how to lead your life and your business without sacrificing your relationship by really inspiring women to come into their power and to live a life with bravery, a life that they are destined to be. So I'm so excited and grateful that you take your bedtime to share your magic with us today. And because we only have 30 minutes for you, the stage is all yours, Shoshana.
Amazing. Oh, well, I'm so happy to be here. Hi, everybody. If we haven't met, I'm super thrilled to meet you. And one of my favorite things about doing collaborations like this, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And I'm so happy to meet you. It's so cool to see women really growing and thriving and rising together. So this felt like an immediate yes. And it's so cool to be a part of something like this. So I'm truly deeply honored. I feel so grateful to be here. And I look forward to being able to offer this community something today. So I always love in my programs, I have a business called Living Brave, but it's more like a movement and a soul calling that's like a business by accident and as a byproduct. And one thing I love about that world is the level of like connection. And so if something that I say makes you feel something, if it inspires you, if it activates you, like if you want to drop that in the chat box, and if you're even here right now and you want to say hi and how you're feeling and where you are in the world, that's why. But I love that. And so whether you're watching on the recording or you're here live, if you can just let me know how you're feeling, where you are in the world, what lands with you today. That's really why I do my work. And at every stage of the journey, I connect with my community. It's the most fun thing in the world, and you're all brilliant. And I learned so much from you. So, all right. So today was called The Art of Living Brave. And so I'd love to hear from you in the chat, like what bravery means to you. If you feel brave, if you feel like sharing a time that you felt very brave, something that you did recently that was super brave. All right, we're still getting ready. So you're off camera. I miss you, Kim. We're in Washington, feeling tired. So glad to be here. Okay, well, I loved the name that I didn't name this, The Art of Living Brave. And for me, I've been thinking a lot about what art really is. And a little backstory on me, you can learn a lot about me online. I've shared every piece of my journey publicly, vulnerably, authentically on my podcast and my social media. And I launched a small podcast called Living Brave. I only had a following of friends and family. It was 2019, the end of 2019. I was side hustling, dog walking, beer tending, freelance writing, 8 jobs. And I just probably feel like some of you feel like I had a story to share, and I had a lot of creative life force energy that if I didn't share, it was going to pop. And so I was like, I was trying to get my story in all these big publications, and it had to be big and it had to be bold. And I waited a year, 2 years, this idea that I was in starter limbo. And I think starter limbo gets to us at different points of our journey. So I finally decided I was going to launch the podcast. I went live. I told the world about my genital herpes status. 1 in 2 women will have an STI before age 25, and 1 in 4 New Yorkers has HSV2. 2 in 3, the population has HSV1. And so I was just mind blown by this thing that was held in the dark for so many people. And to me, it was a portal into shame and what shame does to us. You know, when you walk around feeling like you have something to hide, some of you might call it imposter syndrome. Some of you might have a fear of really being seen. You have a secret, if only they knew, kind of that lingering feeling that often we don't realize is unconsciously sucking so much energy from us. So I was just lit up about that. I launched a podcast and everything just blew up. Like, of course, in the moment, it didn't feel like I just zoomed and here we are, but it just soared. It's been 3 years or so, not even 3 years since my first launch of my business. It was a $0 launch flop. I was so embarrassed. I went live and pretended I had to go. I was like, oh my goodness, there are people here. I forgot my words. This is so scary. Goodbye. So I think someone called my name goodbye. And so here we are, and we've done almost 4 million in sales in less than 3 years, all organically. We have a relatively small community. We have all different kinds of offerings, from leadership coaching to business coaching to life relationship coaching, the energetics. And to me, I really like to bring forth an innovative strategy of moving through the world. So the numbers to me are amazing because, as Tanja said, I really care about a world in which we are free with options, and we get to access true wealth, money being a tool for wealth, and to be able to, move with a currency of the world that helps create impact and health and joy for yourself, your loved ones, and the world. I mean, that's beautiful. But one of the most amazing parts of living brave and having the business for me has been the depth of growth and connection within myself and my community. And that's what I'm most proud of, is feeling like, and any of you here on your personal development journeys or business growth journeys feel like you've lived 10 years in a week sometimes. I really feel like a different person than 3 years ago. The me that navigated the same client issue now, I would have had a full-on temper tantrum 3 years ago. Now I'm able to navigate situations like with ease. Someone saying a mean thing on the internet, activating all my trigger responses and wanting to explain myself. And now it's like, okay, process. We're moving through tests of power. Being able to translate so much of that into relationships. So that's a backstory on me. I've been able to grow something I think that's really cool, really outstanding, and really near and dear to my heart through bravery, not through complex systems and strategy and this overworking. It's been through being brave. So I want to explore that with us today. One thing I want to bring to the forefront when we talk about bravery, right? For me, bravery is walking with fear. Okay. So there are two main strategies of moving through the world. Most people are living life in the avoidance of fear, right? Creating often the things that they're most afraid of through the avoidance of it. Who has disappointed themselves to avoid disappointment from the world? So many people. What if it doesn't work? So I might as well have one foot out the back door so that just in case it doesn't work, it's my fault. Okay. So something crazy happens when you start to be vulnerable. You start to find the things that you think make you less than, and you explore, what if this is actually my superpower? What if I just put this out there, take it out of the darkness, shed light on it, and oh my gosh, all of the energy that's created, the energy that's weighing you down, and fear and shame and doubt, and the stories that you create about how you're not enough, and you just put it all out on the table, and all of a sudden it's zing, you get your life force back, and you're able to use that for true authentic expression, right? So for me, bravery is walking with fear. It's noticing that's so not like me. Oh my gosh, that feels edgy. Oh my gosh, that feels so uncomfortable. And then saying green light, it's not a red flag. That's a green light. I should go there. And continuing to feed yourself bite-sized doses of bravery, doing the things that scare you again and again and again until it becomes a way of being. And then bravery over time, bravery compounded over time equals confidence, right? Confidence in who I know myself to be. Well, confidence, you do something that's scary enough times, it's not scary anymore because you have evidence. Right. And sometimes you'll look at a confident person and you're like, how did you get so confident? Were you born that way? And you're like, remember when I just told you the first time I went live, I pretended I had to go. It was super embarrassing. And now I'm like, oh, I have this panel. Okay. What am I going to talk about? A couple points, and then I'm going to fill the room and just see what flows. Because I've done this so many times that part of me still feels excited and scared. And that makes me feel alive. It's a good thing. That's my life force, but now I'm confident because I've done it so many times. And if bravery is a way of life, then shit, I have to keep finding my edge, because what was brave is no longer brave anymore, because I've done it so many times. It's confidence. And so that's what I love. That's how I've scaled my business. That's how I've grown as a person. It's like, it's not investing in something for the first time. I took the leap. I did it scared. Okay. Do it again and again and again and again and again. That it actually becomes a natural state of being, of living on the edge of life itself, because you've cultivated a safety in who you know yourself to be, and therefore you're able to play in the unknown. So one thing about bravery and about what I feel it creates success in life is doing what you say you're going to do. And so I feel that this is very relevant for tonight, because I had to reschedule. I had my call for Sunday. I had to reschedule because flights got rescheduled. And there was no doubt in my mind. I said I was going to do this event. I'm excited about the event. The graphics are made for the event. These beautiful women. I will stay up until 2 a.m. and do this event. I'm doing it. I said I'm going to do it. And so I'm doing it. Right? It's, how much mental energy you clear up in your life when you say you're going to do something and you're going to do it. This is confidence. And so many times, how do I be magnetic? How do I call in high-level clients? How do I get someone to fall in love with me? And the first step should always be learning how to follow through with promises with yourself and with other people, because you become a really solid person. You build trust with yourself. And so many times we've broken trust with ourselves. Sometimes we don't even trust ourselves to take leaps because we don't trust ourselves to follow through. Will I make the most out of it? Will I let myself down? And that's why I want for everybody, the beginning of your work to be rebuilding trust with yourself. And if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I follow through with promises to myself. It's 11 p.m. I would have done this at 12 a.m. And there's a nuanced conversation around not pushing yourself. But I think sometimes when we talk about the feminine, it gets a little bit confused, and like understanding our inner little girl and our devotional, matured feminine woman who understands the follow through, right? Who understands devotion. Our little inner girl's like, I don't feel like it. I don't want to, not anymore. I'm feeling tired, and our mature feminine leader is like, hey, honey, maybe you don't want to go now, but you're going to feel really good after, because you've been able to cultivate a long-term vision, a long-term horizon. You see beyond just today. You're able to be disappointed. You're able to push yourself in a healthy way, to create healthy pressure for yourself, and to relax into your body and relax into the moment so that you may take action. So what my strategy for moving through the world in business is really an energetically informed strategy where I want to help my clients. And I hope this conversation helps you realize it doesn't have to be so hard. I don't have to force and create so much tension. I just say, if I'm going to do it, I'm doing it. And so how can I make this as easy as possible? How can I make this as natural as possible? How can I speak my truth? How can I relax into the moment? And if all of my time and energy before this was spent, oh my God, I don't want to do it. Oh my God, what am I going to say? Oh my God, who's going to be there? Oh my goodness, creating stories. Oh, I have to do this. You know how hard this is? Of course you wouldn't want to do it. But if I say, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So who do I want to be in the meantime? How fun could I make this? Could I create a story out of it? And you see that life becomes a lot easier with less thought and more of eating fear for breakfast as a way of life. So it's 11 p.m. It's late at night. It's day 1 of my period. I was like in a freaking cave today. And I think part of this being a feminine leader, being brave, is we talked about following through, being someone who it realizes when you're disappointing yourself on the path to avoid disappointment from others, right? I'm afraid of you abandoning me, so why don't I create the very thing I'm afraid of? Being someone that people can count on, understanding devotion, which is a follow through in service to love and truth, and speaking the truth of your emotion in the moment. Something that's really helped is if you look even at my Instagram page, there's photos of me crying. There's photos of me in my authentic truth. I share with my clients behind the scenes exactly what's going on in my life. It makes things a lot easier to take action when you just let your emotions be exactly what they are. And I'm sure so many of the brilliant women here are going to talk about being able to embody all of your emotions. Someone I love is Regina Thomas Howard, and her book Pussy Reclamation. I love what she says. Women have 100 and something piano keys, and most people are only playing 3. And really being able to not be afraid of any of your emotions, to just feel tired, to just feel sad, to just feel happy, blissful, and notice any stories that are created around your emotions and releasing the story. And just today, it's like, you guys, my payroll woman, here's the thing about living brave and living a life on purpose. My payroll woman texted me out of the blue. Everyone in my life is an angel. No one is just a transactional person. Everybody's got medicine for you. So she texted me and asked for something. And I said, I am on day 1 of my cycle. Can I just send you a message? And she said, I'm going to send you something. Please don't send it to anybody. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. She sent me a 3-minute message of her the day before her menopause. It was like last year. And she said, tomorrow, she probably had sent it to friends, kids. And she's like, hi, ladies. And she had beautiful nostalgic music in the background. And she was just like, it's almost the last day of my cycle. I always love getting my period. Immediately, I start sobbing in this moment because I realize how much we often take life for granted. And like, gosh, how many more cycles am I going to have? Like, this is really beautiful. And she said, I used to love it. It's like you're fertile and you can have kids, and so I'm exiting this chapter. I'm excited for what's to come. And then she started sharing all of her favorite tampons throughout the years, and this like pad is a thong, and then I start laughing, and so I'm crying and I'm laughing and I'm in bed and I'm sweating and I'm smelly, and I also have a photo shoot, and I'm like, you know what, let's just ride this one out. Let's see if, like, here I am. I'm a full spectrum human right now. I'm crying. There's snot everywhere. I'm laughing. I've got this at 11. But bravery is just being exactly as I am, releasing all the unnecessary story and pressure of who I have to be and where I have to go. And oh my gosh, I can't be sad right now. Oh my gosh, why is today my period? Oh my gosh, I'm crazy. And just saying, this is a wild ride. There's a wild ride. There's an infinite of feeling in the moment. And so from there, my photographer is like, you can do this. And I'm like, maybe this will just be an interesting one. Maybe we'll just do a short shoot. Okay, you know what? I could stay in bed all day, and there's something lovely about that, but I could just explore. And I think it's just exploring sometimes our emotions as leaders. It's like, yeah, I'm sad. Yeah, I'm feeling frustrated, but let me just explore something else. So we explored the shoot, and then the shoot became something else. And then the lingerie came out, and then this came out. And then it just became this full evolution of tears and snot, and then sex goddess photo shoot, and then here at night doing a presentation. And this is available to all of us. And I truly believe that this is one of the keys to success, is I say I'm going to do it, so I'm going to do it. And I'm going to make it as easy and natural as possible, as being exactly who I am in the moment, not pushing it away and not compounding it by creating a story about it, just letting it be. And then riding all of my emotions and creating an empowered story around it. So that's an example of my day today. And I love to teach by example. I love to let my life be my playground. And that's where I want to bring in the context of leadership and bravery, which is it's you go first. It's embodied. There's no shortcut. And so what I love and why I'm so grateful for living brave, right? This is called the art of living brave, and my business is called Living Brave. And I hope for all of you, if you have a mission, if you have a movement, or at least you have values or a passion or a guidebook for moving through the world, is that your life becomes about something more than you. You know, like when I was going through a really shitty heartbreak journey in May 2021, and I wish I could say it was like we made the Facebook post, like we're transitioning with the love, and it was so easy, but damn, it actually blindsided me and it hurt and it was triggering and it sucked. All of that happened. And the most amazing thing throughout that process was I had Living Brave. Not I had my business to melt into and numb me, but I had something that reminded me of who I was. And I had a context for my life that had me say, all right, how would you want your clients to see behind the scenes right now? All right, how do you want to remember this? Okay, so on brand, stop. So on brand, stop. So on brand. How are you going to move through this, right? Like, what do you want to live a life that you're proud of? You know, how can you surprise yourself and others with how you move through this? And so that's where bravery comes into the equation, because most people are living in the avoidance of fear, the avoidance of all of the things that we then create through the avoidance of them. And it's an intentional moment to moment awareness of I'm holding faith and fear. I'm stepping into the unknown. And I'm a human. So of course I'm afraid because I don't have evidence, but there's this light at the end of the tunnel, and that's my intuition. And there's this gut pull into the unknown. And confidence is who I know myself to be. And a congruency between who I say I am and how I show up in the world, on and offline. And so if my safety is who I know myself to be, then I can walk into the unknown, because I'm willing to lose it all, because at the end of the day, I'm proud of who I am. And that becomes a way of being. And someone with nothing to hide, someone with nothing to lose, is the most magnetic person in the world. And I think a lot of the times people are like, how? You know, my community is still small. I'm excited to see where we go. I'm excited to look back at trainings like this. And I know from the bottom of my heart that there's no hack, that there's no 5-step process. It's just every step of the way being consistently mind blown by life, seeing everybody in your life like an angel, like my payroll woman, Nancy, who I love so much, who wants to send me videos of one of her deepest life's transitions, because you become the kind of person who's present to the people around you, who's grateful for life. And truly in bravery, you start to look at your humanness, your fear that we all have, as something that makes you more whole. Okay. So in the avoidance of fear, in the avoidance of hard emotions, we're making ourselves separate. We're making ourselves wrong. And what I'm saying right now is that I'm scared every day, that I bet you're scared every day, that I bet the people you look up to are scared every day. And the only difference between bravery and a life in which just avoid pain, create pain, the avoidance of it, and a life beyond our wildest dreams, I think there's so many factors outside of our control which are going to contribute to our success. But for me, success is my follow through. What's going to make me feel really good? What do I have to do? Who do I have to be that's going to make me feel complete and good about this? And then leave the rest up and to the universe, and then be both feet in no matter what. So you keep evolving and growing. So in life, the point of all of this work, bravery, and really deciding that your fear makes you more whole. And so instead of avoiding it, You're going to eat it for breakfast. You're going to say, this is my green light. This makes me more whole. This isn't something to get rid of. Imposter syndrome, I've heard some clients say they've done worksheets to overcome it. And I'm like, how was that for you? Like, it didn't work. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Because you're human. And so where can we look at, our whole human, just say, this makes me more whole. My human grows alongside the visionary, legendary self. Okay. This piece of artwork that I'm crafting in the world, for anyone with a business or a mission here, looking at that as art. And the best thing about art is you can't fuck up your art. It's your art. And so I love to look at everything you create as artwork. It's a work in progress. It's not you on a silver platter. It's just you saying, I've created something and I desire to share it with you. And that is the bravest thing that you could ever do. And bravery feels so good because it makes you whole. You're accepting. You're just accepting yourself. Full acceptance. So there are so many things that I want to say, but we have 5 minutes. What I'll really say is that when we talk about bravery, and I said there's no shortcut to bravery, it's about going first. Okay. It's one thing to say I'm brave. It's one thing to say I want these kinds of men, clients, money to show up in my life. It's another thing to say I'm game. I'm going to show people who I am. I'm going to be a match to that. And so with a name like Living Brave for the podcast, my first episode was here's my deepest, darkest secret with the world. Do I recommend sharing your deepest, darkest secret with the world? No, I can give a whole training on how to start uncovering your shame and how to do it in a way that's really nourishing for your soul and doesn't re-traumatize you. But the key here is that you go first. You do the thing first. Okay. It's in sharing really powerful things that are still tender and that feel edgy, that stretch you into who you're becoming. It's in the middle of the breakup I told you about, showing up, not asking my community to hold me, but saying, gosh, I'm going through one of the hardest times in my life. Here's a mascara all down my face, and here's how I'm leading myself through it. Okay. It's in the moments where it's the hardest to lead and you lead. That's bravery. You go through the kinds of things that people want to learn from. And that's the only shortcut. Go through the kinds of things that people want to learn from. Okay. So confidence in who I know myself to be, no matter what, that's my safety, that you're going to give it your all. And then you can be brave. From a seat of confidence, you can be brave. Who you know yourself to be is so much more important than what you want. That's what I want to leave you with. I hope that in saying I am someone who's brave, bravery is the momentum of my life. Confidence is where I land. And the limit of my confidence is infinite. Okay. And from that place, it's more important to know who I am moment to moment, which is far more weird and complex and ever evolving. And I am 5% of who I'm becoming, which I'm so excited about. So I can't wait to see who I'm becoming, but I'm committed to who I am. But what I want, what's coming for you when you commit to who you're being every day, is so far beyond your mind's capacity to dream. I never had a vision board. I never dreamt this for myself. In March of 2020, I had a goal of $4,000 a month on an intake form. Okay. We've had multiple 6-figure months and all of the things that would break my brain. That was just a couple of years ago. So here I am now, and I'm like, how good could the relationship get? How good could community get? I'm looking at all of you and I see like infinite possibility, infinite potential. And so giving your mind, your beautiful mind, a break and just deciding today that you're going to be brave, that you're going to work on confidence, which there's no hack to. It's just compounded walking with fear again and again and again until you have so much evidence that it's confidence. And letting yourself be taken places that this mind could not even dream up. Your heart is going to take you there. Your whole spirit's going to take you there. Your mission's going to take you there. And it's hard to connect the dots moving forward. It all makes sense looking backwards. So thank you for having me. This was such a beautiful group. I've loved connecting with all of you and like seeing your faces and your energy. And what a treat that you have Kim next. She's one of my favorite people in the whole freaking world. And I'm so grateful that we get to share this stage together and that all of you are here.
Thank you so much, Shoshana, for sharing your magic with the women. How can they connect with you? How do they find you if they want to stay connected?
Yeah, I hang out a lot on Instagram. So it's at Shoshana with 2 N's _ Raven. And yeah, that's a good place. I have my podcast, Living Brave. And if you hang out on Facebook, I'm on there too. And we have the Living Brave community. So I'd love to hear if today really landed with you. And I'm so happy to be connected with all these beautiful women. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a good night's sleep in the beautiful moon cave and the flight to Hawaii.
Thank you.